Hello viewers, welcome to our daily VNA News. Following are the headlines. President Tran Dai Quang highlights childcare as strategic tasks. Deputy Prime Minister Chi Minh City attends International Conference on Future of Asia. Seminar discusses improvement of ASEAN steel sector's competitiveness. President Tran Dai Quang has said child care, education and protection are strategic matters that contribute to raising the quality of human resources in service of the country's industrialization, modernization and international integration. Speaking at a meeting with 55 disadvantaged children from 11 cities and provinces nationwide in Hanoi on May 30th, on the occasion of International Children's Day, June the 1st, the state leader affirmed that the Vietnamese party, state and people have always given their love to children. Over the past years, priority has been given to protecting, educating and taking care of underprivileged children with a slew of specific policies covering social allowance, health care, education, vocational training, rehabilitation and legal assistance, he said. The leader also called for efforts to disseminate relevant laws, knowledge and skills, saying investment should prioritize facilities for children, especially ethnic children, beneficiaries of social welfare policies, and those living in localities in extreme difficulties or affected by natural disasters and diseases. The work requires the involvement of different sectors, with families, schools, the community, and social political organizations playing the most important role, he stressed. On May 30th and 31st, Deputy Prime Minister Chi Minh City attended the 2016 International Conference on the Future of Asia in Tokyo. We have more in the following report.
The theme of this year's forum is Rising to Global Challenges and Realizing Asia's Potential. The conference brings together regional leaders in the public and private sector to discuss issues relevant to Asia-Pacific regional integration and economy. At the meeting, Deputy Prime Minister Dung stressed the significant achievements made by Vietnam during its 30 years of renewal process. He affirmed the Vietnamese government's resolve in developing the economy in a speedy and sustainable manner, turning Vietnam into a modern industrialized country. Moreover, the government will continue to push up the restructuring of its economy in line with the changes in its growth model, creating an advantageous and transparent business environment for businesses. The Deputy Prime Minister also called on Japanese businesses to invest in the support industry and agriculture in Vietnam. On the same day, Deputy Prime Minister Dung met with Japan's Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry, Motoo Hayashi. Minister Hayashi spoke highly of the Vietnam's socio-economic development in recent years and expressed his joy at the growing economic cooperation between the two countries. Later, the Deputy Prime Minister met with Chairman of the Routine Corporation, Katsutoshi Nagayama, who announced his company's 10-year plan to invest in 50 hotels in Vietnam. Deputy Prime Minister Dung held his interest in the realty market in Vietnam, pledging support to Japanese investors, including Routine.
Secretary of the Ho Chi Minh City Party Committee Dinh Thang held talks with Secretary of the Party Committee and Mayor of Vientiane, Xin La Vong Kuphaithon, in the Lao capital city on May 30th to discuss measures to boost the two cities' relations.
At the meeting, Thang said as a driving force for the nation's economic development, both Ho Chi Minh City and Vientiane should seek ways to boost their cooperation. Xin La Vong Kuphaithon thanked Vietnam, especially Ho Chi Minh City, for support for Vientiane, saying that Vientiane wishes to share experience and collaborate with Ho Chi Minh City in all areas. The two sides agreed to continue the implementation of the signed Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation for 2015-2020. Accordingly, Ho Chi Minh City vowed to help Vientiane develop animal husbandry and beef processing and improve its financial and budget management and financial officials' capacity. The two cities agreed to continue expanding cooperation in tourism and culture and exchanging experience in fields of mutual concern.
The Indian warships INS Sapura and INS Kerch docked at Cam Ranh International Port in the central coastal province of Khánh Hòa on May 30th. The ship, the 80 officers and 580 sailors aboard, began a 5-day official visit to Vietnam in the context of growing relations between Vietnam and India, especially in bilateral defense relations. Last year, the two countries signed a joint vision statement on bilateral defense relations for the 2015-2020 period, which served as a base to deepen ties between the two nations' defenses. The delegation's visit is among specific activities to carry out agreements between the two countries' leaders. The delegation will meet with the Provincial People's Committee and the Naval Zone 4 High Command, as well as visit Nha Trang Naval Institute. After leaving Cam Ranh International Port on June 3rd, the Indian ships will hold a joint exercise with the Vietnamese Navy force. The Vietnam Steel Association and the Southeast Asia Iron and Steel Institute held an international seminar and expo in Hanoi on May 30th to improve competitiveness of the steel sector in ASEAN.
The seminar saw the participation of all ASEAN member nations, as well as over 30 countries with developed steel industry, such as China, Japan, and Australia. Over the last few years, the steel sector has faced a range of difficulties, including high competitiveness with low-price exporters.
The seminar themed Innovating and Improving Competitiveness of ASEAN's Steel Sector takes place at the right time. At the expo, each firm introduces their strengths and technological advantages. They also seek to cooperate with Vietnam and other participating countries. In order to sharpen the competitive edge, local firms should further upgrade their technology and equipment, improving business management, and increase regional and global integration.
The expo features 62 booths, including 8 from Vietnam, offers an opportunity for Southeast Asia steelmakers to exchange information and seek solutions to improve their operational efficiency and competitive edge.
Large domestic banks have asked the government to increase the cap for foreign stakeholders from the current stipulated 30% to more than 40%. More details in the following report. The Bank for Foreign Trade of Vietnam, or Vietcombank, is proposing to issue new shares equivalent to 10% of its capital to foreign investors. Japan's Mizuho Corporate Bank Limited, which owns 15% of the bank, plans to acquire another 5%. If the proposal is approved, Vietcombank's foreign ownership will rise to around 35% from the current 21%. The Vietnam Bank for Industry and Trade, Vietinbank, said it will seek permission from the government to increase ownership for foreign investors at his bank to 40% or even higher. However, the state would still hold the dominant ratio of 55% in the banks. The rise would help Vietinbank, the country's second-largest lender by assets, to raise its foreign ownership from the current 27.75% to more than 40%. According to experts, the cap increase for foreign stakeholders in local banks is indispensable, as it will help the banks improve their restricted finance and governance and grow rapidly in the context of rising competition from the country's integration into the world market. Under the current regulations, cap on foreign holding in a Vietnamese bank is set at 30%. However, according to experts, the rule makes investment into domestic banks less attractive, as foreign investors with low stakes have no say in the decision-making process in such banks. However, to attract foreign strategic partners, besides cap increase of foreign stake holdings, experts also recommended to domestic banks that they improve their transparency. Domestic exporters expected to ship 1.5 million tons of rice abroad in the second quarter of this year, 100,000 tons less than the figure in the first 3 months. The Vietnam Food Association reported by May 18, rice exports exceeded 2 million tons with $875 million in free on-board value and nearly $912 million in cost, insurance and freight value, up 15% in both volume and value from the same period last year. The increase was buoyed by the surge gained in the first quarter, thanks to several pending purchase orders and the government-to-government contracts with Indonesia, the Philippines and China signed in 2015. In April, rice exports reached 453,000 tons, earning $212 million in free on-board value, down 20.5% in volume and 7.5% in value from the previous month. The Vietnam Food Association forecast the demand for rice will increase in the second half, mostly in the 3 key markets of the Philippines, Indonesia and China, and resulting in higher prices. This increasing trend is stemming from falling output due to the impacts of the El Niño phenomena hitting major rice suppliers, namely Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia and Vietnam. The Vietnamese government has just promulgated a resolution on supporting and developing enterprises by 2020.
Under the document, Vietnam will boost economic restructuring and enhance the quality of economic growth. We focus on improving private sector competitiveness. By 2020, there will be at least 1 billion operational enterprises with competitive capacity and sustainable development. Under the resolution, the private sector is set to contribute 48 to 49% of the GDP and 49% of the social investment capital. The resolution rolls out principles to build and complete an economic institution, creating a favorable business and investment environment for businesses to develop and become a driving force for the economy. To realize the objectives, the resolution sets forth measures, including enhancing administrative reform, making it as part of the e-government development, and creating a favorable condition for newly established enterprises. The resolution also proposes reducing 50% of personal income tax in some fields, simplifying and reducing procedures on land, cutting business costs, and not granularizing economic relations.
The 12th Southern Food Festival is scheduled to take place in the Suối Tiên Amusement Park in Ho Chi Minh City from June 1st to the 9th.
The annual event will feature a Vietnam Fruit Week to promote local specialties in supermarkets, shopping malls, and hotels across the city. Its highlight is a floating fruit market selling more than 150 kinds of fruit at discounts between 20 and 30%. The market with its 50 boats will be open for 3 months. Other activities include a fruit parade, a collection of rare and giant fruits, and a fruit safety contest. Began in 2004, the festival has become a popular cultural tourism event, promoting the agricultural values of Vietnam and the southern region in particular. Fruit cultivation spans 415,800 hectares of land in the southern region and produces around 4.3 million tons per year, accounting for 53.2% and 57% of the country's area and output.
And that has come to an end of our program. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time.